What's up, guys? Welcome back to Kitchen Court Cases, where we watch court in my kitchen. This is part 2 of the contentious custody conundrum, curious custody conundrum, the CCC case. Anyways, guys, let's get going. I appreciate each and every one of you that's here. Please subscribe if you haven't done so already, and let's get watching some court.
May call your next witness.
Thank you, Judge. I'd like to call Ms. Yvette Pearson.
Right. Please raise your right hand. You can unmute your mic first. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth and nothing but the truth?
I do.
All right. You may proceed, Ms. Fearing.
Thank you, Judge. Good morning, Ms. Pearson.
Good morning.
I'm going to start with some basic questions just to sort of refresh us a little bit from yesterday. Can you tell us when did your relationship start with Ms. Harris?
The official date was July 23rd, 2016.
And when did you become engaged?
November 25th, 2016.
And when did you first move in with Ms. Harris?
November of 2016.
And to what address did you live at when you lived with her?
4005 Ayala Drive, Austin, Texas, 78725.
Was that her house prior, or did you seek that house out together?
That was her house prior.
And when was Elijah born?
December 7th, 2018 at 12:52 p.m.
And who chose Elijah's name?
I did, but it was agreement between the both of us.
What is the significance of the name Elijah to you?
It's biblical, and since middle school, as a young age, I always wanted to name my sons Elijah and Elisha.
What's the story behind Elijah's last name?
Harris is her last name, and Pearson is my last name.
And how did you and Miss Harris decide to bring Elijah into the world?
Prior to our before we got together, we kind of connected in a relationship because we pretty much were going through the same things, and we were a great fit with each other, and we wanted the same thing. So that's how we came about deciding to go through the process having Elijah.
Okay. And tell me, when did you stop living at the 4005 Ayala Drive home for good?
February 18th, 2022.
Okay. And when did your relationship with Miss Harris end?
Then February 18th, 2022.
Miss Melson? Oh, Judge, I don't think we addressed a few housekeeping issues from yesterday. Ms. Stewart brought up that we had agreed to pre-admit exhibits that were uploaded to Box, and I just want to confirm that the court agrees to pre-admit those exhibits.
Okay. What are you offering? What is the range, please?
Your Honor, the agreements were petitioners 1 through 23 and respondents 1 through 10 that I'll allow it.
Okay. Petitioners 1 through 23 is admitted. Respondents 1 through 10 is admitted. You may proceed, Ms. Fearing.
Thank you. Ms. Melson, would you please pull up what's been pre-admitted as P17? All right. Ms. Pearson, I'm going to show you a series of photos here. Have you reviewed these photos before?
Yes, I have. Miss Farron, can you have someone come cut the volume out? Cause I can barely hear you.
Oh, yes, there should be I'll send Jesse over there to help you, but there should be a knob on a speaker right down below the monitor. Should be on top of the desk.
The volume. Which one? I can barely hear you.
Let's go off the record.
Thank you.
Okay, you want to test it now and see if she can hear you, Miss Fearing?
Great, we're great.
Is that better?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, we're back on the record.
Thank you. Okay, Miss Nelson, could you briefly scroll down just to see a couple of these photos? Ms. Pearson, that's okay, Miss Nelson, you can stop now. What do these pictures in general show?
Quisha and I at Elijah's birthday party in her hometown in Maryland.
Okay, let's scroll back up to the first picture, Miss Nelson, please. Ms. Pearson, what does this picture show?
Our son, Elijah John Harris Pearson, at 8 weeks old.
And were you present when this picture was taken?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you take this picture?
Yes, ma'am.
Next picture, please, Ms. Nelson. Is this, and what's going on here? Is this the same sonogram or a different one?
It's a different one. He's 19 weeks at that time.
Keep going, Ms. Nelson, please. What's happening here, Ms. Pearson?
We had took a trip to Great Wolf Lodge. I believe that was July of 2018 or August of 2018.
What does Ms. Harris's shirt say?
Due in December.
Next photo, please, Ms. Nelson. What's happening here?
We're opening gifts at the baby shower. I believe that was September 1st of 2018.
Who threw this baby shower?
LaQuisha's, Miss Harris's friend, Miss Linda, and her Elijah Bush are Elijah's godmother, and the one in the back of me is his other godmother.
Next photo, please, Ms. Nelson. Is this the same shower, Ms. Pearson?
Yes, ma'am.
And who's opening gifts in this photo?
We both are.
Next photo, please, Ms. Nelson. And next photo, please. What's happening in this photo, Ms. Pearson?
This is Miss Harris's mother, Miss Mason, and her older sister, Miss Latoya Harris.
What are those objects pinned on your and Ms. Harris's clothing?
A clip of It's a Boy.
And next photo, please, Ms. Nelson. And next photo, please. What is this showing, Ms. Pearson?
This is the invitation that we made for my family to have a shower here in Austin.
Okay. So who threw that shower?
My sister and a friend of hers, I believe it was Naomi.
And where did this particular shower take place?
At my mother's house, Elijah's other grandmother.
Okay. And who does this invitation says the shower is honoring?
LaQuisha, Miss Harris, and myself.
Next photo, please, Ms. Nelson. What's happening here, Ms. Pearson?
That is me right before I went in to cut the umbilical cord for so Elijah could be born.
That was on the day he was born.
Yes, ma'am.
Next photo, please. And what's happening here?
This is Elijah on the table after he was born.
Who's wearing the gloves in that photo?
That is one of the nurses.
Who took this photo?
I did.
Next photo, please, Ms. Nelson. Ms. Pearson, if you want to briefly describe this one.
This is Elijah, maybe 5 minutes after he was born.
Next photo, please, Ms. Nelson. If you'll briefly describe this one, Ms. Pearson.
This is Elijah after they took him out of the labor room and they had him in this room because they were trying to get his blood circulating well before LaQuisha seen him.
And was this before or after you cut the umbilical cord?
This was after.
Next photo, please, Ms. Nelson. I don't think we need to explain this one. Next photo, please. And what's happening here in this photo?
This is the morning after Elijah was born in the hospital.
In the hospital. And who took this photo?
Photographer.
And next photo, please. What's happening in this photo?
That was the first night that he was born, and I slept with him.
So that's you in the photo.
Yes.
Next photo, please, Ms. Nelson. And how old is Elijah in this photo?
Maybe a week or two.
Next photo, please. And that's you also, Ms. Pearson?
Yes, ma'am.
Go ahead, Ms. Nelson. Who is in this photo?
That's me and Elijah.
How old is he here?
A couple of months.
And where was this photo taken?
In the room, in our bedroom in the house.
Next photo, please. What about this one?
That's in our bed in the house.
And that's you in
And
the photo.
Elijah. Mhm.
Next photo, please. Where was this photo taken?
That was in the living room on the couch in the house.
Who took the photo?
I did.
Next photo, please, Ms. Nelson. What's happening here, Ms. Pearson?
That was Elijah's first doctor's appointment. We were going to see her
Your Honor,
family.
at this time, I'm going to object to the relevance of the testimony. We're here to talk about standing and temporary orders. I'm concerned about timing if we go through photos starting from when this child was an infant and until now. We haven't even had a chance to put.
Response. Why is this relevant? I mean, this is getting a little bit repetitive, Ms. Fearing, from this time frame.
I can speed things up. We're just trying to establish the actual care and control from the birth of the child.
And Your
What
Honor, I
does the
can.
statute say?
I
When
can
is the
sit-
time frame you have to establish? We already know this. So I'm bordering on granting her relevance of Ms. Stewart's relevance objection. If you can tell me why we have to go into so much detail about 2018. Isn't it the statute 102?
Yes, the statute for 102.003A9 does talk about the 6 months prior to 90 days before filing the petition. So I can speed through these, and these photos have been admitted already.
They're awesome.
Okay. Ms.
They're
Nelson,
fun, so I'm gonna sustain that. Next.
Ms. Nelson, if you'll just click through quickly the photos. I think there's one or two. Okay. What's going on here, Ms. Pearson?
That is LaQuisha's
And
family.
have the same objection, Your Honor, and we can stipulate that Miss Pearson lived with a child and Miss Harris until May of 2021. We've conceded that.
Okay,
Okay.
move along.
All right. Miss Nelson, you can stop sharing the screen now. Okay. Ms. Pearson, let's shift gears and let's talk about residences. How many leases have you signed in your life?
2.
Okay. When's the last time you had a lease in your name?
2015.
And prior to that?
2008.
Okay. And have you ever owned a home?
No.
How long have you lived in the greater Austin area?
Between Austin and Kyle, all my life.
And from the age of about 5 to 25, what residence did you live?
110 Bentry Court, lot number 49B, Kyle, Texas, 78640.
And how old are you now?
37.
In your opinion, what are the most significant residences that you have in your life?
110 Bentry Court and 4005 Ayala Drive, Austin, Texas, 78724.
Okay. And so how many places have you lived between the age of 25 until present?
3.
And to just be clear, how old are you now?
37.
37.
And did you change your driver's license address each time that you moved?
No, I did not.
Why not?
It was easier that way.
And what address do you use as your driver's license address?
As of right now,
Yes.
my mother's address, 13700 Glenmark Drive, Maynard, Texas, 78653.
And prior to that?
110 Bentry Court, lot number 49B, Kyle, Texas, 78640.
And what is the address in your car insurance registration currently?
13700 Glenmark Drive, Maynard, Texas, 78653.
And prior to that, what was it?
110 Bentry Court, lot number 49B, Kyle, Texas, 78640.
Okay. And did you ever list your car registration to an address on Onion Creek Parkway?
I believe so, but I'm not sure if that was about 6 or 7 years ago.
Okay, what's the significance of the Onion Creek Parkway address?
I stayed there in the time frame that me and LaQuisha got together, and when my lease was up, I completely moved into 4005 Ayala Drive.
That was one of the 2 places you did sign a lease, to Onion Creek Parkway.
Yes.
And tell me, when was the last time you lived at the Bentry Court address?
2015.
And who lives at Bentry Court now, or who lived there at the time?
Peggy MacArthur and John MacArthur.
Okay. And so of all the residences that we've mentioned today, except for your childhood residence, which of these have you lived the longest?
At LaQuisha and I's house.
And for how long did you live there?
Almost 6 years.
But you never signed a lease there?
No.
Okay, so let's talk about you living at your and LaQuisha's house. When did you first move in?
November of 2016.
And at that time, didn't you say you were living at the Onion Creek Parkway address?
Yes, but I spent most of my time at her house until my lease was up, and then when my lease was up, I just brought the rest of my stuff there.
So you feel that you moved in before you moved all of your things in?
Yes, ma'am.
Why did you wait to do that?
It was easier that way.
When did Miss Harris first give you a key to 4000 Ayala Drive?
November of 2016.
Were you working at the time?
Yes.
Where were you working?
Austin Oaks Hospital in Silverado.
And what was your schedule like when you first moved into the home? Your work schedule?
I'm gonna again object to relevance. We're looking at
Response. This speaks to the factors in that State Farm insurance case. It talks about residence and what is relevant to prove what a person's residence is. It talks about how transient she is, how many nights she stayed the night, what the person's schedule is like.
Reply.
not relevant to this case. We're talking about whether or not she lived with a child in the 9 months prior to filing. No one disputes the child lived with his mother at her home on Ayala Court. So in fact, the transient argument cuts against Ms. Pearson. She needs to have been in the residence with the child.
Where does it say that in the statute that they have to show? I know it's pure custody, control of the child, but where does it say they have to live?
So, Your Honor, in section B, it says in computing time necessary for standing, the court shall consider the child's principal residence during the relevant time period preceding the date of commencement of the suit. Then further, Your Honor, the Texas Supreme Court went on to say, in the interest of HS, that in reading the language under 102.003B, the court says we read this language to exclude non-parents who do not share principal residence with the child for the statutory time period from establishing standing under 102.003A9, regardless of how extensively they participate in caring for her. And the Supreme Court in that case is citing back to a Court of Appeals case out of Houston in the interest of NH. And I'm happy to provide the cites to the court.
Judge, if I may, Mr. was right. It's not disputed where the child lives. The issue is how we determine whether or not Ms. Pearson lived in the residence with the child. And so in order to prove that, we need to look at how we prove what Ms. Pearson's residence is. And as I mentioned yesterday, there's no family law case law on point to proving what the residence of a potential parent is or a potential conservator is. And so we need to look to what the civil case law is to define one's residence. And the case law in that talks about things like whether or not a person in general lives a transient lifestyle. And there's arguments here that Ms. Stewart wants to make that Ms. Pearson was in and out of the home. She had some of her things elsewhere. And so in order to establish that this is her residence, we do have to talk generally about.
Okay, you can answer.
Let me repeat the question. Ms. Pearson, what was your work schedule like at the time that you moved into the Ayala Drive residence?
2016, I was working 6 to 2 at Silverado and 2 to 10 at Austin Oaks Hospital.
Okay. And so during that time, when you moved into the residence, what were your household responsibilities at the home with you and Ms. Harris?
Washing, cleaning, laundry, cooking breakfast because I don't really cook dinner. And outside the yard and washing cars.
Okay. And what was Ms. Harris's work schedule like at the time?
She worked late evenings to early mornings.
So how did Ms. Harris refer to the residence when you lived there?
our house.
And again, when was Elijah born?
December 7th, 2018.
And when did you and Miss Harris find out that you were pregnant with Elijah?
March of 2018.
Okay, and so what was your work schedule like at that time?
I was working mid shift, so 2 to 10. I had no longer had two jobs. I was just working one at that time at Austin Oaks Hospital.
Okay. And what was your approximate income in 2016?
Okay, I'm gonna sustain. We move along. The important time frame is Ms. Pearson testified that she did not move out of that residence until February 18th, 2022. Why are we talking about all this other stuff?
I can move on, Judge. Ms. Pearson, once Elijah was born, and throughout the time that you lived with Elijah in the residence, what were your household duties? How did they change once Elijah was in the picture?
They didn't change. I mean, it just got more, intense because we had a child now, so I had to spend a lot of time with him.
So what were the additional duties that you had now that Elijah was in the picture?
Making sure he was fed, changed, clothed, bathed.
Who did the grocery shopping?
We both did.
And where would you shop for groceries?
Sam's, HEB, Walmart.
Was it a joint Sam's membership?
Yes.
It's irrelevant. I don't see the relevant, but where are they for groceries?
Move along.
If I may.
Move along.
Right. And
I mean, it seems to me the crux of this case is she needs to prove up her testimony that she lived in that house until February 18th, 2022, and that's it.
correct. Judge,
Because she's already pretty much established it in the general sense of the word. This is this child's mother.
my point was
But you gotta prove that she had standing to sue. So get to that.
okay. What happened in April of 2021 to affect your relationship with Miss Harris?
There was an argument. She came out the shower and just exploded while I was in Elijah's room trying to get him something to wear. And then she called my sister, her sister, and she was like, "Get out." And yeah.
Okay. So who's Peggy?
Peggy is somebody that used to be in my life but no longer is in my life.
How was Peggy involved in this argument in April 2021?
She wasn't.
Okay. And after this 2021 April argument, what was the result of the argument?
She asked me to leave. So I had left May 24th of 2021, but I was back in the house late July, early August.
Okay, so May 24th, 2021, what sorts of things did you decide? Did you officially move out of the house?
I mean, I took some things. I didn't take everything.
What things did you decide to move out?
I mean, the bulk of my stuff, like most of my shoes, most of my clothes, and my TV.
And where did you take those things?
I took them to my mother's house, 13700 Glenmark Drive, and I took my shoes to Virgil's house. I don't recall the address at the time.
Okay. What things did you leave at the Ayala Drive residence?
Clothes, shoes, toothbrush, underwear.
And why did you leave them there?
Because I wasn't leaving for good. It was just to give her a little break. Because she said she needed a little break.
Did you give the key back to the house?
No,
Did you give the Joint Sam's Club card back?
no,
Were you still taking care of Elijah in the home?
yes,
And were you still in a relationship with Miss Harris?
yes.
So let's talk about that relationship a little bit. When you became engaged to Miss Harris, did you buy her a ring?
Yes.
When Miss Harris asked you to move out, did she ask for the ring back?
No.
And how long would you say that it took after this fight around April, May of 2021 before things smoothed over?
I left at the end of May, so I say by the beginning of August, like right after her mom went back home, we were good.
Okay. And so at that time, did you move all of your stuff back in?
I didn't move it all back in because I didn't need all of my stuff. I have over 100 pair of shoes, so like no, I didn't move it all back in at that time.
Okay. Let's talk generally around that time, post May 2021. Did you start a new job around that time?
No, I started this job February 1st of 2021. I started working from 4 p.m. to maybe 4 o'clock in the morning, Monday through Friday.
What was that job?
I was a CDL tanker driver, filling up trucks for fuel and diesel.
And so how many nights a week would you work?
5.
And where would you drive as a CDL?
As far as work or to get to work?
As far as work.
The Austin area, San Marcos area, Pflugerville area, Round Rock area.
And so when you would get off work at 3 or 4 in the morning, where would you go?
I went to our house.
Okay. And was this just a Monday through Friday job, or did you work on the weekends too?
Just Monday to Friday.
And so where did you stay on the weekends?
LaQuisha and I and Elijah's house.
And did you testify to some household responsibilities that you had prior to this May 2021? Did those responsibilities change after May 2021?
No, they did not.
Okay. Ms. Nelson, can you please pull up P4? Ms. Pearson, I'm going to show you a few pictures and ask you about when the picture was taken and what's going on.
We can see what's going on, and we heard
Okay.
the testimony of the swim coach. When was the picture taken?
That picture was taken either July or June of 2021.
Next photo, please, Ms. Nelson. When was this picture taken, Ms. Pearson?
That picture was taken in August of 2021.
And who's in the photo and what's happening?
It might have been July because her mom was still there.
Who's in the photo?
We're at a racetrack, and I believe it was like, it started with P, Texas.
Okay. Next photo, please. When was this photo taken?
Of course, that's July 4th, 2021.
Okay. Next photo. What's happening here?
That was July 4th. We went out to 1110 Ventry Court.
Next photo.
I'm going to object to the relevance of these photographs. I mean, this is during a time where Ms. Pearson has now testified she wasn't living in the home. And so I don't understand the relevance. She testified she didn't move back in until after my client's mother went home in August 2021.
She also testified that she was there periodically to take care of the child and that when she wasn't working. Ms. Pearson, where was this photo taken and when was it taken?
Our living room, maybe July or August of 2021.
Next photo. What's happening here, Ms. Pearson?
That's when I got LaQuisha and Elijah's initials tatted on my arm, July of 2021.
Next photo, please. What's happening here and when was this photo taken?
This photo was taken maybe August of 2021. I don't recall where exactly we were at.
Next photo, please. Ms. Pearson, what are the words down here on this photo?
Hornsby Bend,
What is Hornsby Bend?
the neighborhood where LaQuisha and I and Elijah resided at.
Did you put those words on the photo?
No.
How did those get there?
During using Snapchat, it has your location.
And so when was this photo taken?
That photo was taken in July or August of 2021.
And what are you doing?
Working out, running, walking.
Next photo, please. Was this taken?
That was taken in July or August of 2021.
Next photo. Where's this?
That is in Port Aransas in August of 2021. We went to the beach after her mom left in August of 2021.
Next photo, please. Same trip, Ms. Pearson?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Next photo, please. Same trip.
Yes, ma'am.
Next photo. Next photo, please. Where was this photo taken, Ms. Pearson?
In the living room of our home in August of 2021.
And did you add that Sunday letter?
It's a filter. It was a Sunday when it happened, so yeah.
Next photo, please. What's happening here?
Elijah's eating dinner, which is breakfast, because that's one of his favorite things to eat. At
And
the house in 2021.
okay, around when in 2021?
August of 2021.
And those letters and on the photos, are those another Snapchat filter, I take it?
Yes.
Next photo, please. What's happening here, Ms. Pearson? When was this taken?
That was taken maybe like October, September-ish of 2021.
And what are you doing?
Running in neighborhood. The house is in the back end of that picture. I was just ran down the street.
Next photo, please. Where are you? I think you're running again. Where are you running here?
In our neighborhood
And when did you take this photo?
in 2021, between August and October.
Next photo, please. What's happening here?
That's on our sidewalk, probably a couple of houses down from the house. Elijah was running with me outside around that time, August of 2021.
Next photo, please. What's happening here?
That's Elijah in his underwear outside with me that morning. And it was in August of 2021. That's our house right there.
Next photo, please. What's happening here?
Oh,
Nothing, right?
I was proud of my time. But that was that workout in the neighborhood that we shared,
And when did that occur?
August of 2021.
Next photo, please. Where was this photo taken? And when?
That was Texas Roadhouse, right before Elijah's 3rd birthday.
Okay. And who was present?
LaQuisha and I and
Next photo.
Elijah.
What is his birthday? Okay, his 3rd birthday. So what year and month would that be? This photo was taken.
12/21.
December 20.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you.
Yes,
You may
ma'am.
proceed.
Next photo, please, Ms. Nelson. And what's happening here? And when did this happen?
Elijah swimming in my mom's neighborhood pool with his cousins, probably July of 2021.
Next photo, please. When was this taken?
That was, I want to say maybe September or October of 2021. Me and Elijah took her new kid that she had got to go wash. We washed it that morning.
So you're driving Miss Harris's car.
Yes.
Next photo, please. Where's this photo taken?
That's in our bathroom, maybe July of 2021.
Okay. Next photo, please. Where's this taken?
I believe that was in the neighborhood, on our way to, I think I was on my way to work to drop him off in Kyle,
And when was that photo taken?
July of 2021.
Next photo, please. Where and when was this photo taken?
We were at his big cousin's, basketball practice in Manor, one of the elementary schools. And I believe it was either probably June
June of
of 2021.
Okay. And next photo. When was this taken, Miss Pearson?
That was either August of 2021 or maybe September 2021 at our house.
And again, did you put those words on the photo, or how did
Yeah,
those?
it's just a filter. It was just on a Tuesday, so
And who made that meal that Elijah's eating?
I did.
Next photo, please. What is this photo of?
That was actually the last meal that I had at the house, in 2022.
Okay. Do you know when in 2022?
It was February. They left to Maryland on the 11th. I dropped them off at the airport, and that morning I came back and made that. But that was that night that I had the meal.
Who is they?
Elijah and Miss Harris. I dropped them off at the airport.
So you were
Okay.
alone at the house when this was
Yes.
taken?
Yes, February 11th.
Next photo, please.
22. Yeah.
What's happening here?
Elijah's eating his favorite dinner, maybe August of 2021 at the house.
And who made that dinner?
I did.
Next photo, please. What's happening here?
He sleep in his room.
And who took the photo?
I did.
Who put him to sleep?
I did.
When was the photo taken?
August of 2021.
Next photo, please. What is this?
That's the last meal that I had. February 11th, 2021, that morning after I dropped him off at the airport.
That's just you cooking the meal.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, next photo, please. What's happening here?
That's February 18th, the night that they came back from Maryland, and we are at my mother's house in our new room.
That's the day you moved out, right?
Yes.
Next photo, please. What's happening here?
She sleep after some lasagna on the couch in our house.
Who made the lasagna?
She did.
And when was this photo taken?
Probably September of 2021.
Next photo, please. What's happening here?
That's after I cut the yard in August of 2021.
Okay, next photo. Miss Nelson, can you zoom in a little bit? It's kind of hard to see. Miss Pearson, what's happening here?
That's Elijah and I just hanging out in our living room in the house. He was getting ready to go stay at Peggy and John's house for the night.
And so when was this photo taken?
August of 2021.
So Elijah left, who, did you stay at the house that night?
Yes.
Next photo, please. What's happening here, Miss Pearson?
Another morning run in our neighborhood in 2021.
When in 2021?
Maybe August.
Next photo. What does this photo show?
Elijah eating McDonald's.
And when was this taken? Where was this taken?
It was in my car. I want to say after his swim class or something like that.
What
August
year
2021.
did you pick him up from some class?
I took him and
Next photo. What's happening here?
that's us at Kobe Steakhouse eating dinner.
And when was that taken?
I don't know if it was in August or around his birthday.
Okay. Thank you, Miss
Of
Nelson.
2021.
I've got a few very short, like 5-second videos from Snapchat. Miss Nelson, if you'll pull up video labeled P5, please. Miss Pearson, what's happening here?
I took a video of the front yard after I finished the lawn.
When was that video taken?
August of 2021.
Okay, we don't need anything more from August in 2021, okay?
Okay.
Let's, I mean, most of it is August 2021, but there is some after that. Also, but that would be better, right? If we focused on that
Sure. Let me,
and the trial.
Miss Nelson, can you please pull up P7? Miss Pearson, what's happening here and where are you?
We're in the living room. That's probably September of 2021 or early October of 2021 before
Okay.
Halloween, of course.
Okay, and P9, Miss Nelson, please. When was this taken, Miss Pearson?
That was LaQuisha's 37th birthday, January 29th, 2022. I was in her car driving.
Okay. Where were you going?
We were actually in Joe's Crab Shack in the parking lot waiting to be seated.
Okay. And you all three drove together?
Yes.
Okay. P10, please, Miss Nelson. When was this taken, Miss Pearson?
That probably was October of 2021 after I cut the grass.
And where, just to be clear,
It's our house.
okay. And P11, please, Miss Nelson. When was this taken, Miss Pearson?
Maybe the end of October of 2021.
And what are you? All right. You can stop sharing your screen now, Miss Nelson. Thank you. Just a few important points to kind of round things out. Post May of 2021, between the time you left February 2022, how often would you stay the night, or how often were you at the house?
Every day.
How often would you stay the night?
I mean, I work, nights, so I would stay every weekend.
Okay. And as of today, where are the majority of your belongings?
Today, 13700 Glenmark Drive, Maynard, Texas.
And when did you move your belongings there?
February 18th, 20. Well, it was that week before, the week during that time that they were in Maryland. So I just moved it, throughout that week. But I told her that all my stuff would be gone by the time they got back.
And do you believe that all of your things need to be in one place in order for you to reside there?
No.
Do you have what residence did you list as your residence when you most recently registered to vote?
4005 Ayala Drive, Austin, Texas 78725.
And when did you first do that?
I want to say 2018, 2019 or 20.
Have you changed your voter registration form since then?
Yes, because the last election.
When did you change it?
It was right before the last election, so it was sometime last year.
Sometime in 2022.
Yes.
When you were registered to vote at the Ayala Drive home, did you vote in local elections at that time?
Yes.
Okay. In February of 2022, when you moved out for good, as you've testified, did you give Miss Harris notice that you were leaving?
Yes.
Why did you feel it was necessary to give her notice?
It was just the right thing to do, and I mean, we have a child together, so I wanted to make a plan for me to still be able to be in his life, and that's why I told her.
At that time period, in February of 2022, was Ms. Harris referring to the residence as yours or ours?
At that time, I mean, after I said I was leaving, of course it was mine then.
Prior to, before you said you were leaving?
Before I said I was leaving, it was our house. But when I told her I was leaving, it became her house at that time.
Okay. What were the differences in your household chores pre-May 2021 and post-May 2021?
They never changed.
After May of 2021, between May of 2021 and February of 2022, what activities of Elijah's did you pay for?
His karate,
What other things did you pay for Elijah during that time period?
his Halloween, his costume, his food, his birthday, just his daily things, whatever he needed.
Who paid for groceries during that time?
We both did.
And Ms. Nelson, you will show P13, please. And if you'll just scroll down, Ms. Nelson. Ms. Harris, what are we showing here?
That is money that I sent to Yvette to be
Oh,
able
I'm
to.
so sorry. I didn't mean to ask Ms. Harris a question. Ms. Pearson, what is shown here in these photos?
Money, pretty much half of whatever I paid for to get Elijah.
Okay. And so did you ever request that Ms. Harris would pay you back for things that you paid up front?
No.
Why did she send you money?
That's what she wanted to do.
Would you eat together in the home?
Me, Miss Harrison, our son?
Yes.
Yes.
And would you make meals together using the same groceries that you purchased together?
Yes.
What other household items did you share?
Toothpaste, toilet paper, laundry detergent, everything except
And
deodorant.
okay. And who paid the utility bills?
Miss Harris?
Did she ever ask you for money to contribute to utility bills?
No.
Okay, and so during that time, again, we're still talking about post-May of 2021 through February of 2022. Who exactly lived in the home?
Miss Harris, Elijah, and myself.
Did anyone else ever live there during that time period?
No.
Can we close the exhibit, please?
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Uh,
I mean,
And
her
any-
mom came to visit in July and left in August of 2021, but that was that as far as staying at the home with us.
okay. And at any time, did Ms. Harris's sister live at the residence?
She lived in our residence from June of 2019 to February of 2021.
Okay, and during that time, well, let's back up. During May of 2021 through February of 2022, what were the sleeping arrangements? Who slept in what room?
We slept together, or if Elijah wanted to sleep in his room, she might sleep with him, or vice versa.
How many bedrooms are in the home?
3.
Okay, and when Ms. Harris's sister lived there, what were the sleeping arrangements?
Elijah had his own
Objections to
room.
relevance. The sister shop,
Response.
February 2021.
I believe that they're going to make an argument that Ms. Pearson slept the majority of the time she lived there in the guest bedroom. And so I'm trying to show that the guest bedroom is occupied, Your Honor.
We're not gonna make the argument. We're gonna make the argument that she moved out May 2021 and didn't move back in. That's our argument. Always been the same argument. Consistent.
Okay, sustained. Next question.
Okay. Ms. Pearson, what does Elijah call you?
Mama.
Does Ms. Harris refer to Elijah as your son?
Yes.
When did she stop referring to Elijah as your son?
May 14th, 2022. I mean, March 14th, 2022.
And how do you refer, what do you call Elijah?
I call him son, Elijah, Stinker, EJ, Stink.
And so we're talking again about May 2021 through February 2022. During that time, were there any parts of the home to which you did not have access?
No.
And in your opinion, did you live there during that time period?
Yes, I did.
Do you believe that Elijah thought that you lived there during that time period?
Yes, he did.
Earlier, you mentioned Peggy. What is Peggy in relation to Elijah?
In my opinion, nothing now.
Okay, but during your time living in the residence, did you and Miss Harris ever rely on Peggy for childcare?
After Elijah and Miss Harris was in a ATV accident in the neighborhood of March 26, 2021, she did come for a few weeks afterwards and stayed with us until we made a decision together for Elijah to actually have a break from her because his behavior had changed.
Okay, what happened in this ATV accident?
She
Gonna object as to relevant.
Well, it's
Within
They had said earlier, Judge, I'm just trying to figure out the scope here, but they had said earlier that we had not made an argument that there was significant harm or that Ms. Harris was an unfit parent. And so I believe that I have the right to talk about certain incidences that might speak to that.
reply.
there are no pleadings that state that Ms. Harris is unfit.
No, but you had your opening where you were talking about alcoholism, or maybe I can't remember exactly what in the opening.
Yeah, for Miss Pearson, not Miss
Right.
Miss Harris.
Right.
And the
Right.
relevancy of fitness for Miss Harris is her fitness right now, not an accident that occurred in March of 2021.
Okay, sustained. Next question.
Okay. Back to Peggy. Peggy, you said Peggy came and stayed with you after that incident. How long did Peggy stay, Ms. Pearson?
about 2 to 3 weeks.
Okay, and what were the circumstances surrounding when Peggy left?
When she left, our son, like when we would come home, he and we would call him to come to us. He would look to her to see, if he could come to his mother and his mama. Like, and we didn't like that, so that's why we made the decision together to not allow Elijah to see her for a while.
Okay. Do you think that did Ms. Harris do you think it affects Elijah that Ms. Harris keeps him away from you?
Yes, I do.
And you heard some testimony yesterday from Ms. Tasha Deckard about moving things back into the home. I want to clarify, when did Ms. Tasha Deckard help you move items back into the home?
She helped me bring my shoes back. I don't know if that was either November of 2021 or 2022 January. I'm not sure.
Okay. And so during the time period of May 2021 through February 2022, who would supervise Elijah?
I had them all day until I went to work, and then I would pass him off to her when she got off work in the evening about 8 p.m.
Her being Miss Harris?
Miss Harris, yes, ma'am. I'm sorry.
Okay. And who provided transportation for Elijah?
I did the majority of the time.
What sorts of things would you transport him to and from?
Karate, swimming lessons, Chuck E. Cheese, or the park, restaurants.
Who enrolled him in karate lessons?
I did.
Why did you choose to do that?
I just felt like he needed some kind of more structure being a boy.
And who paid for those karate lessons?
I did.
Who would care for Elijah's emotional needs during that time period?
We both did. Miss Harris and I.
How would you do that?
Depending on what happened or how upset he was.
Who would decide when Elijah would wake up each day?
I mean, when he was with me, I mean, I would decide, but I don't know with Miss Harris. So
Is that because you were working nights?
yeah, I was working nights, so he would most of the time be up all night.
Who would decide if he watched too much TV?
That wasn't a decision thing that we made. I mean, I kind of wanted him to not be on that tablet or not a lot of time, but she let him watch some videos whenever.
Who would plan his meals and decide what he would eat for dinner?
I did the majority of the time.
Who made decisions on when and why he would go to the doctor?
It was basically mostly appointments and stuff, but I took him to every appointment. So, I mean, if Miss Harris was off, she would go, but most of the time she was at work and she would arrange it with me to take him to the doctor. So,
Were there ever any like certain medical decisions that you and Miss Harris made together for Elijah during that time period?
what you talking about as far time periods for us being together?
No, May 2021 to February 2022.
I don't believe he was in the maybe a shot or something like that, but I don't think he went to a hospital or a doctor like that during that time.
Who was involved in making educational decisions for Elijah during that time?
We both did that as together.
Did he go to a daycare or
No, like I said, he was with me every day until she got out of work.
did you and Miss Harris plan for Elijah's educational future during that time period?
Yeah, we wanted to get him into daycare. But I think it was more around the age of 4 than 3. So
Okay. Who would bathe Elijah?
me the majority of the time.
And when is the last time that you saw Elijah?
The last time Elijah was in my possession was March 14, 2022.
And have you made attempts to speak to him since then?
Yes, all the time.
And do you know anything about Elijah's current living arrangement?
Yes, I know that they moved to Maryland.
Do you know when that occurred?
Maybe the end of October of 2022.
What happened Did Elijah he had a birthday in December, correct?
Yes.
What did you do to celebrate his birthday?
I decorated the home, and then I got him a cake and cupcakes, and I got him a card and a gift and sang him happy birthday.
Ms. Melson, can you please show P20? If you can just scroll down, please, Ms. Melson. And now, Ms. Pearson, was Elijah present for this?
No.
Did you ask Ms. Harris if you could speak with Elijah on his birthday this year?
Tried, but it was more no response or harassing her.
And Judge, would you mind if we took a really brief break?
Yeah, where's it coming up on one anyway? Why don't we come back at 11:10?
Thank you.
We're off the record.